Hello again, Pioneers. Welcome back to the finale of the TurboFuel power plant. Been working away, making sure this thing is actually running properly, decorated, and most importantly, some Slug employees on the job site. Let's go check it out. TurboFuel power plant is running 3 alternate recipes. It's making 765 TurboFuel a minute, feeding 170 generators using 4.5 TurboFuel a minute each. We have 4 floors of TurboFuel generators running. 1 floor of 17 blenders making our TurboFuel. And a production layer below. We'll meet the Slug managers here in a moment. And our final bottom floor here, with the train, the water extractors, and logistics room. We'll return to that in just a moment. We'll go meet Perry, the head of our power plant here, our first official Slug employee. He helped establish the power plant April 8th, today. 170 generators with a net 22 gigawatts. We are actually producing 25.5, but our net is around 22. Here are all the Slug managers on duty. Respective floor, offices, IDs, and names. The raw resources we are using: a crude oil node right here, a pure node. Not quite getting the maximum 600 potential, but 573.75 a minute. We are bringing in by train 382.5 sulfur. Same amount of water per minute from our extractors. And we are getting power, lots of it, and some plastic. Thank you, Perry. We'll come back to this in a moment. Let's tour the plant. Here's our oil coming in, heading up into 4 buffers. We will go around the corner first. Here's the train entrance. Water extractors. This one was underclocked and giving us issues prior. We swapped it to this one. That one's running full, and we're having no problems now. I don't know. Closer to the pump, maybe. Some nice glass encasing. Hello, train. Some lighting above. There's a tiny floor above here you can walk on. Left room for some of the polymer resin. Watch as the sulfur gets removed. I know sulfur's more of a yellow in this game and probably real life, but kind of go with a greenish yellow for my coloring here. It feeds into here. Thank you, train. We have 3 buffers. When those back up, we have an overflow here. Heading down to the sink room. A little bit of protection from the seafloor below here. There's a crash site underneath our base. And some pillar supports down here. The logistics room also has petroleum coke. A possible issue here. We'll have to investigate. Oh, this one's underclocked a lot. These 3 do the main work. With the petroleum coke, it's backing up, same as the sulfur. all the polymer resin from the long line here, feeding into the plastic refineries. We hit an autosave. There's a smart splitter with an overflow line I forgot to build earlier, which backed these up, which backed the plastic refineries up, which backed all the heavy oil residue refineries up, and we had major issues. All the blenders were short, and we had to essentially restart everything because one missing belt. Live and learn. I could also have a backup on the polymer resin if I desired, but oh well. Let's get out of the basement here. We'll head to the main production floor. I don't have a great way of getting up from around this area. Look at the heavy oil residue, 20 refineries on the alternate recipe. Plastic being made here, and petroleum coke down on the end. Some battery banks, 25 batteries on each floor, or 2 floors each, 4 of them, 20,000 megawatts of storage. Here are diluted fuel blenders. We will go check the manager's offices. Harry, heavy oil residue manager, using the alternate. Using all of the crude oil we are extracting. 765 is our output, the polymer resin all feeding the plastic. 3 buffers on this floor, a small buffer up, and 3 pumps. Probably one too many, but it's working, so we'll leave it be. One of those refineries is underclocked quite a bit. There's our total power usage. Thank you, Harry. Hello, Paige. Petroleum coke manager. Heavy oil residue, petroleum coke, pretty simple. Here we have 4 refineries that one quite underclocked as we saw the slow output. A little under 94 megawatts, not too much. Penny, our plastics manager. Hello, Penny. Polymer resin with some water, making our plastic. 7 refineries, one of them running at a little over a third. Using 188 power. We have 1 water buffer shared with the diluted fuel. The diluted fuel actually uses more, but we have our 2 buffers of plastic down there, storing a bit under 20,000 plastic. We will possibly put that into production eventually. We have all the water accounted for here. 4 extractors, 1 underclocked quite a bit. 2 pumps to get it up. Using 62. 16 for the pumps. Thank you, Penny. On to Francesca, our fuel manager, running a diluted fuel recipe here. Heavy oil residue and the water, making our diluted fuel. 3 blenders, one running a bit over half. 255 fuel, all heading upstairs. 2 buffers down here, 1 above. 2 pumps to get it up there. The blenders use 75 megawatts at 100%. Since we have 1 underclock, that's our total. And you can check with Penny if you have any questions about the water usage. It's 255 here. And I believe 27.5 here. So that's our total water usage. That's the gist of this floor. Our diluted fuel room is safe and secure. We have added some catwalks around various areas throughout. You can walk all the way down the refinery row. Our sealed diluted fuel room here. Just have some nice floodlights. Working away on the fuel. Feeding that buffer, feeding one around behind these battery banks. Along with our heavy oil residue, our sulfur, and our petroleum coke heading upstairs. Which is exactly where we are going. On to level 3. Our blenders, making the TurboFuel, 17 of them. A package fuel area, not in use as of the current moment. We've made a good bit. We can turn it back on if we desire later. Turn a few generators off. Store some up and canister it. TurboFuel production. Hello Tom, our manager on site. Overwatching 17 blenders. Making 45 TurboFuel a minute. Using 15 a machine. 255 total. 30, 510. 225 and 382.5 for the coke and sulfur. Overall output 765 a minute, 7 total buffers, a little excessive. 3 on this floor, 1 on each floor above as it gets pumped up, feeding into 170 generators, 8 total pumps, pushing that all the way to the top. Here's our packaged fuel setup, not currently in use. We need to save up 50 fuel a minute when we want to use it. We have the canister set up along with it. A bit dark on this floor. We didn't light this area, we just lit the blenders. From here, they feed these buffers, the pumps. Heading up, these pumps might be a little too soon on the pipeline, but took a lot of fiddling to get this to work. And it's working, so we'll leave it be. Bunch of generators here on floor 4. Floor 5, same thing. Lighting added in. Generators working away. Another full. More generators. Onto our final floor. Bit of ugly tubing here. This one's been running low, and this particular line is a bit low. Seems to be full at the moment. Maybe it's catching up. This floor I could probably turn some off to allow it to catch up a little bit on production, but overall seems to be working. And here we have a roof canopy, steel roof, followed by a glass roof canopy. Small little landing pad in the middle. Floodlighting around some of the exterior, contrasting with some dark ones in the middle. And our generator manager here, Gary. Hello, Gary. Let's see what you have for us. All of the TurboFuel. At 4.5 a minute, feeding 170 generators, 150 megawatts each, with a 25.5 overall megawatt generation. And our generator counts for the floors that they are on. This floor has the least. This one had a little extra space set out. These are nearly full, apart from one corner area. Use some paths to write out an awkward TurboFuel here. Check this one, and then we have one on the back. So let's go view that. Decent views of Slug Inc. HQ from here, which should be getting developed out soon. Here's the back version of it. Maybe a little more fun, I don't know. Tell me which one you like more. And that's pretty much does it. We can go check out the final piece here. We did add some signs on top. Some signs around the corners here. We added all the double ramps and steel ramp walls all the way around. Finish out that pattern. And let's see if we can have a gentle landing. Not quite. We'll check over here. I think on the power videos everyone just wants to say this is how much it's making, but let's take a good look at what we actually put in to get this. So here I have our usage. 2 sulfur mines, both overclocked to some degree. Not a huge power draw. First floor here we have our oil extractor. We have the water extractors, some pumps, a couple awesome sinks. We have a lot of lighting we added throughout, which does add to the power draw, so we did calculate that in. Our train and freight. Train usage varies, 100 plus, but it's also feeding aluminum to the aluminum plant. Our second floor here, we have all the refineries, using a decent bit, especially the heavy oil refinery. The blenders drawing a good bit for only having a few of them. Some lighting, sinks, and whatnot. 1203, one of the second most usage for power on the floors. And our highest power floors, the blenders for the actual turbo fuel. Using quite a bit of power. With the 17 making 1275 dent on the power. Some lighting and pumps. A hypertube cannon. This is not added into our total, this is just for the packaging turbo fuel when we do run it. And the final floors, these pumps, some of them are right in the middle, I probably could have added it to this one. And just a lot of lighting. These aren't major, 100 each, give or take. And our final floor, just the floodlights. But overall, our power draw to make this all work, it's pretty much 3,500 megawatts, a little shy of that. Considering that's what we are making, generating, this is our net power, 22 gigawatts essentially, 22,000, 2.2 megawatts, or 22 gigawatt power plant we can call it. And Perry, overseeing all the other Slug managers on duty. Thank you, Perry. We did have a little trophy table here. Had a lot of coupons stacked up. We got a very basic one, and then the doggo. And here's Turbo. Hello, Turbo. He's brought us some Couture. Thank you, boy. That's a good doggo. Yes, yes, yes. Yep, I think we will shoot out the hyper cannon, do one lap around, and call it there. I hope you've enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. There was definitely some issues along the way. Everything seems to have been up and running for a good while now and working well. We'll do a lap here. Some signage on the front. Took a bit to add all the wraparound structure here, but I'm glad we did. That's the power plant. Hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe we'll go ahead and leave on a train here for a nice final shot. I'll catch you on the next episode of Slug Inc. As we finally have our power buffer way built up, we can focus on building out some more and new factories. Thank you for watching.